As we watch our interview with Phil Johnson, keep in mind the fundamental flaw with this bishop's worldview. We are not good people.
Ben Shapiro, apparently on some sort of religious quest these days, has been interviewing a lot of spiritual people, including Bishop Robert Barron. The bishop would either tell you that he is a prosperity preacher or he's Roman Catholic. Joining us in studio to Chalk Talk this interview, you came back.
I did. The first time was fun. I don't think this one's going to be that much fun.
It will be fun, because if nothing else, we can use this to springboard into what is true and glorious. Because what we're going to hear, among other things, Phil, is that this man's understanding of grace and forgiveness and heaven, it's sorely wanting, and we have just a much better message.
Right.
Are you prepared, sir?
I am never prepared, but I'm ready.
But we're going to do it anyway. This is what we'll do. I'll play the clip. When you can take it no more or you feel the need to comment, just say stop, and we'll jump in.
Okay.
In a 3 and a 2 and a...
Vatican II clearly teaches that someone outside the explicit Christian faith can be saved. Now, they're saved through the grace of Christ, indirectly received.
Stop.
I figured.
Yeah. Well, he's right. That's what Vatican II teaches.
Yes.
That is not what Scripture teaches. And Scripture's very clear about that. Romans 10, how shall they hear without a preacher? You know, you can't trust Christ if you never heard of him. And
However, let's explore the argument, not of the Roman Catholic Church, but of people who wonder, well, wait a second, the people on Boingo Boingo, they never had a preacher, and you're saying God's going to send them to hell? That's a fair question to ask. What's the response?
it is. Well, we tend to think, you know, the only thing fair is for everybody to get equal treatment. And that isn't necessarily fair. What's fair is to get what you deserve. And we all deserve hell. So if the Lord sent every human being to hell, it wouldn't be unjust for him to do that. He did that with the angels that fell. The angels never had an opportunity for redemption. Nobody died for their sins. The angels who fell will pay for their own sins and are paying for their own sins.
2 words, Bill Gates. If Bill Gates went to a shopping mall and gave $1 million to 10 people, nobody would bellyache he should have given $1 million to everybody at that mall and every other mall. It was simply an act of kindness.
Right.
However, just the same, let's just dig down a little bit on this. There's some guy on Boingo Boingo, Larry, he's the head of the tribe on Boingo Boingo. Larry is a nice man. He has a sense that there's a God out there, sort of, there's something bigger, and he's trying really hard to be good. I have to respond to that because that accusation comes up a lot, and that's actually what you're hearing from this bishop.
The thing is, as fallen creatures, we don't understand what good is apart from God's revelation in the Scriptures. That's why the law was given.
Right, but he doesn't beat his wives.
Right.
You know, he doesn't cut off heads like he used to.
Right.
So pretty good guy.
Like the mass murderer who gives alms at his church. You remember that mass murderer in Wichita, Kansas, who was a deacon in his Lutheran church? And it turned out he was the BTK killer, remember?
No.
Yeah, and he was a Lutheran deacon, and they finally found him because he used church software to send out one of his threat letters and so on. And everybody who knew him said, well, this guy was in our church, but he was a mass killer.
Guessed. He was a good neighbor.
Right, so you look at him and say, well, he was a great neighbor. He seemed like such a nice man. But underneath it was this evil intention, which in his case showed up very starkly. But for the rest of us, it's our motives, our thoughts, our everything about us that's corrupt. We try to be good for even self-aggrandizing reasons because we want people to, like us and reward us or whatever. So even the good that we do as unbelievers is
motivated wrongly. I think too it's the perception of what good is.
Right.
This is rich young ruler territory. Well, you know what? He doesn't eat people. Other people on Boingo Boingo eat people, and he doesn't eat people. Well, that's good. But that's not good enough, because purity in thought, word, deed, that's the standard. We tend to, well, sure, he's lied, but who of us hasn't?
In fact, the standard, as Jesus said it, was you must be holy as God is holy. You have to be as righteous as God. And none of us measures up to that. In fact, Scripture says even our righteousnesses, the good things we do, are like filthy rags.